Welcome back to the portfolio updates. Currently, the portfolios sit at around 37,600 AUD. That is a combination of my 14,766 USD in my stake portfolio, which sits at close to 23,000 AUD, and my Vanguard portfolio, which sits at around 14,460 AUD. Currently, my portfolio is down as the market's traded down in the US, and my Australian portfolio has been trading pretty steady. Overall, today I'm going to be going through some pending transactions that I've put in as I've deposited some extra money into both accounts, what I'm planning to do with them, and my goals towards the end of this year. The first portfolio we're going to go through is my American stake portfolio. As you can see, I have one pending transaction, and that is for VOO, which will be at around 2.14 shares and is estimated around 861 USD dollars. The portfolio is very similar, and I haven't changed much of my stake portfolio in a while, but I decided I wanted to put a bit extra in now as the prices has dipped and I thought it was a good time to buy in. Going through, you can see the recent transactions and how the past month has turned down. As someone who's looking to dollar cost average in, I'm happy to buy in at this price, even though it's above my average price. Getting in, and hopefully in a year's time, 2 years time, or 5 years time, I'll look back and see this was a very good price. Overall, I'm not really planning to do much with this portfolio. If I am going to do anything, we'll be selling out of my smaller positions and concentrating more into my main staples. There is one stock I've been looking at, and that is actually in my watch list. That stock is actually McDonald's. McDonald's has traded down and has had a rough few months, but it is a blue chip and staple, and it's something I'm potentially looking to add into my portfolio as something secure and long term that pays a good dividend and something I believe in. I'll keep my eyes on it, and if it does dip under the 270 mark, it's definitely something that I'm looking to add towards my portfolio. In regards with how everything is currently weighted, I'm still extremely heavily weighted in tech, with Apple and Microsoft both taking up around 18% of my US portfolio, and VOO consisting of a lot of tech positions. I do have smaller ones like Amazon and Google, but they don't take up much, and Costco and JP Morgan are two I hold that are a bit more diversified away from the tech sector and are two strong business models that I believe in. In regards with my Australian portfolio, I did deposit more money into this. I deposited around 1,350 in my stake portfolio, and I deposited around $3,000 into my Australian portfolio. I immediately went and put more money into both VLC and VGS. My VLC position has grown to 129 shares and is getting closer and closer to that $10,000 mark, is what I hope to get it to at the end of the year. And my VGS position is at 4,400, as I hope to get that to 5,000 before the end of the year. One reason I'm really growing these positions is actually to do with dividend income and growing a bit more of a stable, not US portfolio. As you can see, this is what I was referencing when I said I deposited around $3,000 in, and I've invested the majority of it into VLC, 35 shares and 7 shares of VGS. I actually have an extra $100 and so, so I wish I bought an extra share, but I just didn't calculate it correctly. A major thing that I wanted to showcase is actually my dividend growth. So when you look back at my portfolio, you can see these are my most recent dividends, which was $85 from VLC, $7 from my high yield ETF, and then $26 from my international shares ETF. That might not seem like a lot, but it has grown a lot, especially when I come back and I compare it to my dividends I got in April. My dividends I got in April, in combining all three, was a lot closer to around $26, as you'll see. Here it is, I got $12 in comparison to the 80 something I got recently, and much smaller in both other positions. I do hope to continue to grow my positions and gain more and more dividends as more of a passive income source, and it's something that's the goal of this portfolio. My goal with this portfolio is not to grow it to the biggest and most innovative and exciting positions, like with my stake portfolio where I'm a bit more creative and I pick individual stocks. My goal with this is to be a bit more long term and help towards things like my retirement and just getting an extra passive income source which I can draw from when I go for things like a house. Overall, my goals for these portfolios haven't changed much, and by the end of the year, I hope to get them to around $42,000 combined. When looking at these charts, you can see a bit more about how my portfolios is weighted. I've already added in my Australian positions that I've just recently bought into, but I haven't done my US ones as the trade hasn't gone through yet, so I can't look at the average prices. When looking at my Australian portfolio, you can see VLC takes up 64% and is the biggest player by far in my Australian portfolio. I hope to keep it that way, but I might get it down to around 60% and then potentially even sell out a high yield ETF and put that money into the international ETF. With my American portfolio, I said last video, my goal with VOO is to get it to around 50% of my portfolio. And with that recent purchase, it was around 2 shares worth. So when I add that together, you can see it gets very close to 50%, making it a lot closer to my goal and taking my portfolio well over the $15,000 mark. This was just another quick update of how my portfolios are weighted and sitted. At the moment, leave your comments on how your portfolio is sitting and what your thoughts are on mine.